Howdy folks, and welcome to this week's Cowboy Wisdom Thought. It just so happens it's Thanksgiving Day, and I realize that a lot of folks are coming to each other's houses to spend time together, to have a meal together. And I realize also that this is a time of struggle sometimes for some of us to go to our family because maybe we have little disputes, little things we're not happy with. And I just want us to remember that no one's perfect. None of us are made perfect. We are all a work in progress. And that if we forgive others, then maybe we'll have a chance at having a nice day and a good meal without worrying about fights and being upset or tense all the time that things aren't perfect. You know, Jesus knows exactly what we're going through. And it tells us in Mark chapter 6, Jesus is in his own hometown. And the Jews said amongst themselves in verse 3, "Isn't this Mary's son and brother of James and Joseph, Judas and Simon? Aren't his sisters here with us?" They questioned who he was. And even Jesus' own brothers and sisters didn't believe in him as being the Holy God. In Mark chapter 3, verse 35, Jesus says, "Whoever does God's will is my brother and sister and mother." As time passed, his brothers and his mother saw who he was. The book of James in the Bible is written by his brother James, but he doesn't even claim to be his brother because he doesn't want to draw attention to himself in that way. If we would just be a little more like Jesus on the holidays, then we might get along a little better. There's something to remember, is that when I was cleaning the barn today and the stalls were all empty, and how quiet and how sad it was that it was not filled with life. Our homes are the same way. When we open our doors to our family and our friends, it brings life back into our house. It brings life back into the barn when the horses come back. And I love just feeding the animals and standing there and listening to them munch after I've fed them. And they're so joyful to be fed, as we usually are too after we have a meal. I thought about this and I realized how important it is not just to be a peacemaker in your home, but to realize how important each person in your home is. And to help you remember this, and me too, the song came to mind, and it's called "Back Home Again," and it's by John Denver. Some of you may remember it, and others may be the first time you've ever heard it, but listen to the words and realize that he had something here with this song. There's a storm across the valley, clouds are rolling in, afternoon is heavy on my shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder. He's an hour away from riding on your prayers up in the sky. 10 days on the road are barely gone. There's a fire softly burning, supper's on the stove. There's a light in your eyes that makes him warm. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old like a long lost friend. Hey, it's good to be back home again. There's all the news to tell him. How'd you spend your time? What's the latest thing the neighbors say? And your mother called last Friday. Sunshine made her cry. Felt the baby move just yesterday. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old phone feels like a long lost friend. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Oh, the time that I can lay this tired old body down. Feel your fingers very soft on me. Kisses that I'm here for, the love that lies my way, the happiness that living with you brings me. It's the sweetest thing I know of, just spending time with you. It's the little things that make a house a home. Like a fire softly burning, supper on the stove, and the light in your eyes that makes me warm. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Oh yes it is. Sometimes this old phone feels like a long lost friend. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Yes, and hey, it's good to be back home again. Well, folks, I hope that you'll remember how wonderful it is to have family and friends around us, even when we have struggles and strife. You know, all God says was we're more like Him when we love others. When we remember the greatest commandment, to love God with all of our heart and all of our soul and all of our mind, the other part of that commandment is to love others. Love your neighbor as yourself. Your neighbor includes your blood relatives, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your mothers and your fathers. Put aside your differences. They're not around forever. And know that God smiles upon us the more we act like Him. Now, may God bless you. May He keep you until we meet again, my friends. Adios, amigos.